the question after the break here is can we record what's on the screen? Yes and no. For the most part, first of all, if you have 10.6 Snow Leopard, or when Lion comes out, the new version of QuickTime allows you to record. You go to QuickTime Player, and you go up here and say New Screen Recording, and it will record. It may or may not record what's going on behind the scenes. There's other ways to do that, but if you tell it to record your microphone and you have your speakers on, it'll do it. If it's a stream, you could probably do it, but it's going to get big. Let's talk about it. Our first class there today it's in movies. So 5.6 gigabytes was that first class. So that takes up a decent amount of space, but you can trim it down afterwards. But you can't, if it's an iTunes movie, Apple made it so you can't record it. If it's streaming, for the most part, you can probably record it. But there are some digital rights management things that it prevents that. There are some other programs out there that allow you to, some screen capture programs. Send me an email, I can send you links, and they get around doing this. But in QuickTime, try it out and see. So, just to let you know how that looks, we'll go to one of these movies really quick. This is the one we did before, so we'll play a movie in a movie. And this is what we recorded, and I'll skip through. All right, here's the, in this case, I want to highlight. So that's what we recorded. This is all I want to forward or reply to. So that's what will be on the website, but you can also, the other thing is when I do a screen share with you, if a lot of times I have a couple clients, one's once a week, once every other week, that we do an hour and a half online of doing iPhoto, doing pages, things like that, remotely via screen share. He's a teacher in Dubai. He used to be a teacher here. He's in Dubai now, and we do a screen share. We record it using the QuickTime on his end. We record everything that goes on. So you have your own little tutorial DVD. So anytime I'm working with you on your computer, if it's something you think you want to have, you just record it. It's real easy to do. It's wonderful. Apple gives us a lot of tools. We just have to search in and try to find them.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
How much do you charge an hour?
Thank you for asking. Basically, my poster rate's $75 an hour for the first hour, $50 for each additional. My MacNexus rate, and my feeling is until I'm booked 24/7, it's $50 for the first, $35 for each additional. On the other hand, the screen shares are $35 an hour, and like for those clients of mine that do it on a weekly basis and things, we work out a deal down from that to make it well. And on the screen shares, we can do a half hour at a time. Generally speaking, if I come over to your house and we spend 2 or 3 hours, you're going to get close to an hour's worth of follow-up with me online doing things, because I hate to see people get a long laundry list. So my prices are less than half of what everybody else's are out there, and I'm not going to raise them until the demand gets such that I'm so booked I can't do it, because I love doing it, first of all, and weekends, nights, I can work on your schedule rather than, don't think of it just a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday thing. I'm pretty much available all the time. And those of you that had screen shares with me, I think it's a wonderful way, because you're sitting back in your computer nice and relaxed. I can't see you. I can only see your screen. I did trick a client one time, and it was winter time, and I go, gee, that's a nice sweater. Is that new? And there's this long pause on the other end, and then she got really smart. She goes, okay, what color is it? And I guessed blue, and I guessed wrong. So no, you can always tell if your camera's on, the little green light will be on. And to do the screen share via iChat where we talk like that, it's 10.5 or newer, but we have the other one we use for MacNexus called Team Viewer. I can do that on 10.4. The only stipulation on that is we have to actually be on the phone at the same time that's our audio. Where with iChat, if there's a good enough connection, I see your screen and we have a two-way voice conversation. Every Mac except the Towers and the Mac Mini have a microphone and a built-in microphone and speaker built in. So we can. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing if you haven't experienced it. It really is relaxing. It's better than when I'm there and we're trying to both look on the same screen and we're juggling for position and things like that. It's you right on your computer. Once the session's over, I do not and cannot have access to your computer. You have to implicitly agree to it on a little thing. It says hit this button, and you physically have to be there to hit that button to accept it. So it's completely safe. But I can move your mouse around. I can watch you move your mouse around, and it's just like being there, and it's great.
It is great. We do it. My son comes on my computer all the time.
Yeah.
And fixes things, and it's fantastic.
And with TeamViewer, I can do it from my iPhone to my iPad. So I usually pull over to the side of the road first, but yeah, usually. So, but we still have to have the voice conversation when I'm doing it. So, thank you for asking. And my cards are up here, by the way. Like with MacNexus, I volunteer my time to MacNexus. I usually do triage. I do these classes. We do other classes too, but the one-on-one is what I do. But if it's a matter of something where you have an email problem that's through the MacNexus email stuff, we do those team viewers. I do that for free. That's included because I want to support MacNexus because that's where a lot of my business comes from, but I just think it's important. And the Mac community, I like giving back to the Mac community. So I think a lot of you will find that I don't bill as much as I should, but that's okay. All right. The first thing we wanted to do, wasn't there something I said to remind me about in Safari or in Address Book when we got back?
We were talking about trying to sync and duplicating things.
Yeah, it wasn't. No. It'll come to me. Should have written it down. Okay, so I'm going to move on to iCal. And these aren't anything you need. These are just little highlights that I'm making sure that I hit is all, but they're covered in the thing. We'll fire up iCal. It's a little calendar on the left side, and the neat thing is you'll notice that the calendar reflects the current date. The number on the calendar reflects the current date. It didn't used to be that way. It was the date it was introduced, but now it does reflect it. So iCal is the calendar application. Now I know a lot of people don't use iCal. Who doesn't use iCal here? Okay, but you guys most of the time used Address Book. And I find that paper calendars work really well, and I agree with that completely. But I think as we develop multiple devices, iCal becomes more important, especially even on two computers or something like that. So while paper calendars are great, you can print out your calendars. I see many people that use iCal and they print their month or their weekly or their daily calendar out. That's also quite good. But I really, really think the interactivity is there. Let's say you're in a work or a home environment where you want someone else to have access to your calendar. You have the ability to share certain calendars. Now, iCal can consist of many calendars. On mine, you see I have a work, a home, an Empower Mac, the San Jose Sharks schedule. These are on-force appointments, U.S. holidays, birthdays. So each of those is a calendar within iCal. Okay, different calendars for different things. Now, I have some clients that have 20 different calendars. I don't know if that's the best way to go, because then which calendar did I put it in, etc. Now, each one that's checked, you can see by the colors, is displayed. But in fact, I think you're almost better off if you have fewer calendars, but maybe put more descriptions or searching. But everybody has their own workflow. And I'm the one that usually, actually I thought I was a hoarder until I saw those shows, but I think that I do a lot of groups and things, but I find that search is better than having multiple things. I can search anywhere on my computer or anywhere in iCal with our little search windows. So it's up to you. Many people have one calendar and it works quite well, because then you know which of those calendars is there. I can turn the calendars on and off just over here on the side. I'm not deleting the date or anything. I'm just asking it to display. Now, for instance, if I wanted to share a calendar, I'm not going to go into sharing until the very end if we have time left on it, because it's not used by many people. But I can say only share a particular calendar. So in other words, you could have a home calendar, a personal calendar, and a work calendar, and you can say share my calendar with my assistant, so they can either read it only or they can read and put in things. We're going to go through, and I think those of you that raised your hand that aren't using the calendar, let's start off with the aha moment. And we're going to go to this little email that I had done a while back. And I have an email came here, and it says, for for class March 5th, 9 a.m. Obviously, this was a while back, but if I look at that little thing that pops up, that's our, what are those called?
Data detector.
Perfect, data detectors. I don't know, it's geek speak for ooh. So I click on that. I can say, create a new iCal event from this email, or show this date in iCal. Show this date is, you're looking at it, you go, oh, okay, what do I have that day? You can just say, boom, show me this date in iCal. And it did the 5th, it's up in the corner here. And actually, I do need to, since I'd already added this to iCal, I'm going to delete this one. Oh, that's not it. Never mind. Cancel. So that showed me the date. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my mail. And I'm going to say, create a new iCal event. Very similar to creating a new contact like we did in address book. So if I hit that, a little screen comes up. And I say, test class. Location, I could fill out Tom's house. Let's see. All day, if it's an all-day event, or if it has a time frame. Now, because it said 9 a.m. in the email, it says 9 a.m. here. But let's say it misinterpreted the data and it was really something different. I could fill it out here. I can just take it and change it. I'm going to show you how to edit all this. I can add it to whichever calendar I want. For some reason, I have 2 work calendars. I'm overworked, obviously. 2 homes. Oh, I know what the deal is. So I'm just going to add it to my EmpowerMac calendar. Alarms, I'll show you how to set here. Add to iCal. Now, when I go to iCal, it is right here, and it says test class. Everybody see that? Test class.
How do you get the screen to go zoom in like that?
Top secret, only display people can get it. It's control scroll. Those of you with laptops, if you can use the 2-finger scroll, I'm control scroll. Or if it's a mouse with a scroll wheel or the magic mouse with that, it's control, hold the control D and scroll. It's used mostly in a classroom situation, but you can use it to really zoom in. But as you can see, it starts to degrade degrade the picture a bit. So I'm going to test class. If I click on it once, nothing happens. I just highlight it. Double click, I get into edit mode. So I'm going to say edit. Now, in this edit screen, I could change the name. I can add whatever I want to the name, location. All day, again, all day will, like you notice down here for St. Patrick's Day, right below it, that's an all day. That's a U.S. holiday, which I subscribe to, which we'll talk about. No, I'm sorry. It's a U.S. holiday calendar I subscribe to. St. Patrick's Day, it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm far from Irish. But in this edit, what if I know that this class is going to be every week, every month, every year? Well, what happens to like MacNexus? This is the first Monday or first Saturday of every month. I don't see, if I hit every month, that'd mean the 5th of every month. Well, it's not always the 5th of every month. It's custom. Frequency is monthly, every month, and each 5th. No, I don't want it on the 5th. I want it on the, it already knows it's the first Saturday we're talking about, but I really could say make it the 2nd Saturday or whatever, but it defaulted to that. So again, like our Tuesday night meetings are the 3rd Tuesday of every month, I could make this be that. It would change this obviously, but we're going to leave it like it is. So the frequency is monthly, every month, because that could be weeks, right? This could be every week on Saturday. It's not determinate by date. Okay? So I'll go back to monthly, and I'm going to say repeat monthly every month on the 1st, and I hit OK.
But you have to have it in the